Today I'm going to be showing you how to split up a chicken into 9 separate pieces, both thighs, both wings, both drumsticks, both chicken breasts, and also the carcass, which I'm then going to show you how to turn that into a nice brown stock. As well as that, I'm going to show you a real quick 55-minute start to finish roast, and it's going to be delicious, so watch along.
Cooking with Struan, yeah.
So what we have here is one whole chicken. So I'm going to show you firstly how to split this into 8 pieces that you can use, or even 9 if you're considering the stock as well. So unfortunately my first recording failed, but what you're going to want to do is cut along the skin. Then we're going to want to pop out this joint so you can see the bone there. We're just going to cut right the way down, just like that, and boom, that's one. Then I can show you the skin part on here. So cut through that skin, take it up, pop that joint, and then you can see the bones there. So again, we're going to just cut along there. But boom, there's your second thigh and drumstick. Then we're going to want to flip her over, and we're just going to want to take off these wings. There we go. Now we're going to want to get our scissors, and we're just going to want to cut along that backbone. Just like that, and on the other side. So you got all the tenderloins on there, so you can still cut that up a little bit more. They're just small cuts. They're quite good if you want to make some minced chicken or something. But that carcass is great for making a stock. Then you got your chicken. So feel that ridge, you can see that ridge there. You're just going to want to cut straight down that. And just put a little bit of weight in it. And cut through. And then just cut along that bone. Just follow that bone line with the blade of your knife. You still got that little bit of a wishbone there, so you can cut that off as well. So I've only done this a couple of times, as you can tell. I'm not creating the nicest cuts, but from what I've heard, once you get good, you can do this in less than a minute. But you can see that's one pretty good breast just there. And then again, just to find that breastbone, just now go down the left hand side of it. There you go, you've got your second breast. So you can still see there's still a little bit of meat on there, so you can still use that. But you can also chuck that in with the back into a big bowl of water with some cut up onions, and that will give you a white stock, or you can grill these. And if you grill those, that will give you a lovely rich brown stock. So that's what I am going to do next. Beautiful. And then the last thing is, if you get your drumstick and thigh, look under here at that line of fat there. If you just cut just on the right hand side of it, on the drumstick side. There we go. Then you've got your drumstick there, your thigh there. And there's one chicken taken apart. Now we're going to smack that oven right the way up to about 240. So nice and high, so we can brown those bones. Grab your baking tray, and you're going to want to put some baking paper down on it. Take your chicken carcass, just lie that upside down. You can cut off that bits of meat if you really want to. We're just going to chuck that right there. Grab a whole onion, chuck that on there, and then we're going to chuck this into the grill in focus for 30-40 minutes. Just till it's nice and browned and smells nice and chickeny. There we go, they're nice and crispy, that's what we're wanting. So you can grab yourself a pair of tongs, chuck all of that in the pan, and you can add all sorts, you can add what you want, you can make the stock your own. I usually add garlic, but I don't have any at the moment. Let's just chuck that in there. Then you're going to want to cover that in some nice hot water. And you can chuck some carrots in here as well. You can really do what you want. So after that 4 hours, you end up with nice brown stock. So this is great. You can use this in a whole host of things. You can chuck it in a rice, replacing some water in it. Or you can make some great soups. I usually make some Scotch broth with it. Yeah, just use it as if you'd use a stock cube, except you don't need to dissolve it in water. Little bits floating around, or little bits of fat, so you can scrape that off the top if you want, but that adds a bit of flavour. So now what we're going to do is, I'm just going to show you how to do a real quick, easy roast. That'll be ready in about 50 minutes. Grab a bowl. Don't lick it. This is a spicy bowl. Now surround it by some spices. That'll tend to tone it down a little bit. Now what we're going to want to do is just grab an assortment of things you want to coat your chicken in. Chipotle, paprika, a little bit of sumac, and I'll chuck in a little bit of tarragon for some veggies. Pour that in. By the way, by this point, you should have set your oven to about 180 degrees and give that a nice little shake. Don't forget, you wanted a little bit of pepper. And some salt. Not that part of the salt, this part. And grab a plastic chopping board. This is what we're going to rest our chicken on. Grab your drummies and your wings and just mix them up. Chuck the spices on top. Perfect. Now just give them a nice rub, nice massage. The chickens love that. And that gets the flavors into the meat, under the skin. Just give them a nice coating. Make sure you get all these little sections in here so you get a real richness of flavor. And get the rest of your spice mix and just sprinkle that all on top. Now is the question of what you put in with your roast. So you can chuck in some onions, you can chuck in broccoli, any veggies. Get yourself another chopping board. Make sure it's a different one. One onion. And if you've seen my previous video, then you know about this trick already. Perfect. And again. And then you get to this point. Oh no, half of it didn't. You know what, that's alright. I wasn't even supposed to chop it up. Right, so you want to keep them in whole halves. Like that. We will also grab some mini trees. Just do a mild amount of deforestation. And lastly, a pumpkin. Spray the roof. There we go. And just pull it apart. With a good amount of effort, you get down to reasonably manageable sizes. Now just cut this up into slightly smaller pieces so that it cooks properly. Make sure you do this on a chopping board. One chopped up pumpkin. So now get yourself a baking tray, put it down on the table, baking paper which you can reuse. And then just sprinkle some salt and pepper around the entire tray. And you can put some oil on it if you want. I don't think there's really a need, but it's up to you. The juice from the chicken should hopefully give it a good base. And now, you're gonna want to focus on the oven. Oh. Focus. In on the oven. There you have some beautiful chicken, some nice fried onions, and some probably a little bit overdone broccoli. Maybe you shouldn't do your broccoli like this. But yep, that chicken should be nice and tasty. And there you go, now you've got a meal for 2 or a feast for 1. A good idea is often to chuck in some chopped up potatoes and get some chips on the go whilst doing this, because that takes around the same amount of time. Or it takes a little bit shorter, so you chuck them in part way, about halfway through. Here we have a lovely, easy to make chicken roast.